Good morning and welcome back to LCTV News. I'm Dani Vittori, and this week, city officials were out at many events, grants were approved, and more. On the Lynn Lowdown, we sat down with Audrey Morse Gasteyer, Chief of Policy and Strategy for Massachusetts Health Connector, to discuss special enrollment. Here's the news for Friday, August 12th, 2022. The annual Shoe City Classic basketball tournament has been canceled due to safety concerns after a shooting outside Thurgood Marshall Middle School last Friday. An altercation led to 5 shots being fired in the area, according to police. The city proposed several additional safety protocols to be implemented if the event were to continue, including no fans. However, the city and organizers were unable to come to an agreement, so the tournament was canceled. When asked to comment, the mayor's office stated, quote, "We are relieved that no one was seriously injured Friday night. We are also disappointed that the tournament did not work out as planned, but understand and respect the organization's decision to cancel the tournament instead of moving forward with the modifications that the city put forward. In the future, we are committed to continuing working through these issues so that we can have great community events for everyone that keep public safety in mind. We have already begun these discussions," end quote. We reached out to Tournament Director Simi Anderson for comment, but received no response. On Wednesday, Congressman Seth Moulton, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and Senator Ed Markey announced that Lynn will be receiving a $20,250,000 grant to transform the Lynnway. It will create a safe connection between Lynn's downtown and the waterfront. The renovation will include safer bike lanes and better sidewalks to make it a multi-purpose roadway. This is part of the Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity Grant program. To learn more and read the full article, head to our website, lyntv.org. The Life Care Center of the North Shore, located in Lynn, earned the 2022 Bronze National Quality Award from the American Health Association and National Center for Assisted Living. They are one of only 2 facilities in the state to earn the distinction this year. The award honors facilities across the nation who show their commitment to improving the quality of life for seniors and those with disabilities. The award has 3 phases: bronze, silver, and gold. Started in 1996, the National Quality Award Program helps providers achieve their performance goals. The center can now apply for the second step in the program, the silver quality level. Mayor Gerald Nicholson is looking for candidates to serve on the Lynn Public Schools Superintendent Search Committee. Interested applicants can find the application on our website, lyntv.org, as well as the city website and social media. The committee will be looking for someone to replace Superintendent Patrick Tutwiler, Ph.D., who stepped down from his position effective today, August 12th. This past week, sunscreen dispensers were installed in several Lynn parks. This is part of the North Shore Practice Safe Skin initiative and was done with help from Impact Melanoma, a national nonprofit organization dedicated to skin cancer prevention and education. A total of 13 parks now have dispensers located in them. The Latino Festival took place Saturday, July 30th at Lynn Commons, and LCTV was on the scene. Vendors, entertainers, and sponsors alike lined the grass as music spilled out onto the streets. Here's a look at the event.
Today we have a Festival Latino. It's the 5th year that we have running it. We try to get people from all over Central America to come sell their food, to make their restaurants known. And we also give the opportunity for people to come and speak about what organizations they run, just a community event that brings everybody together. There's around 48 vendors, but we have over like 50 sponsors. It's important because it shows our diversity and it shows our presence in the city. It also shows that there's a whole community out there, right, that need resources, that need all different types of things. The fact that everybody showed up and the fact that everybody gets to take something home, whether it's food, whether it's a bag, whether it's a pamphlet, somebody takes something home. I just hope that, you know, everything works out well and everybody enjoys it and everybody learns from each other's culture.
Over the weekend, the North Shore Maritime Center took to the water with a kayaking event at Sluis Pond. Those of all ages could take a kayak out onto the pond for a morning of cool fun. Take a look.
Today is our 4th free kayak event for the city of Lynn and the surrounding areas. And really, we just want to make sure that everybody around here has access to water sports. Today's cool as well because we have SUP East Coast Style, a company based in Marblehead, who has offered to bring stand-up paddleboarding down here. So they're donating that service and the equipment and the coaching for free to us so that we can give people an opportunity to do different types of water sports as well.
A friend of mine told us that there was this kayaking thing going on. She sent me the message. And I wasn't extremely excited, but I really want the kids to do stuff for the summer. So I looked into it, I saw it, it didn't look too crazy, told them about it, and I just decided to, you know, just go. So we came, had no idea. The lines were not long. I mean, it's still like not really busy here. And the people here are so incredibly nice.
First of all, access to nature is really important. A lot of people, especially grow up in a city, don't have that access. And it's just better for overall mental and physical health. On top of that, one of the biggest selling points of water sports is that water sports, specifically sports like rowing and kayaking, can help with your overall brain health.
We have this source in the city, and a lot of people are not aware of it, or they've never had the opportunity to use a boat, so just broadens the scope to anybody of what's available for what they want to do with themselves.
It's a big community, but it's also so small and so just a very nice, everybody knows everyone in the rowing community. It's just great. It's a really great low impact sport that shapes, like Will said, both mental and physical health, and it's really, really important.
It's a really powerful way that we can bring up our community just by getting them out on the water.
On Monday, members of the city, state, and federal delegation, including Congressman Seth Moulton, visited the new pharmacy at Lynn Community Health Center. The pharmacy was one of the 2023 fiscal year finalists selected by Moulton to receive state funding. Here's more from the event.
So our mission at the health center is to provide comprehensive health care of the highest quality for everyone in the greater Lynn community, regardless of their ability to pay. Where we see this as an opportunity is we need to bring pharmacy, to bring the clinical pharmacists and their services, to bring them into the fold and to be an integral part of our quest for wellness for our patients.
Health, broadly defined, absolutely has to include these kind of pharmacological services. So really excited to see this moving forward. So congratulations on behalf of the City of Lynn. Would like to share this mayoral proclamation. For over 50 years, community health centers have provided high quality, affordable, comprehensive primary and preventive care in our nation's underserved communities. And whereas during National Health Center Week, we celebrate the legacy of America's community health centers and their vital role in shaping the past, present, and future of America's healthcare system, as well as Lynn Community Health Center's mission to provide comprehensive healthcare to everyone in our community, regardless of their ability to pay. And now, therefore, I, Jared C. Nicholson, Mayor of the City of Lynn, hereby proclaim August 7th through 13th. That's National Health Center Week. And I encourage all learners to take part in this week by celebrating the important work and role Lynn Community Health Center plays in our community.
Massachusetts was just named the healthiest state in the nation. We're all in this together. And that's what Lynn Community Healthcare is all about. It's what this center has been embodying those values for years. You are a leader in our community, but all of you who work here, you're also leaders for this nation.
Attorney General Maura Healey visited the site of a community garden at Lynn Tech. The food project employs youth to care for the garden, while much of the produce is also used during Thursday farmers markets to give those in the community access to freshly grown food. Here is more.
So the Food Project is a nonprofit organization that works in the intersections of youth, food, and community. So our mission is to create more of a diverse work environment where young people feel celebrated, welcomed, and we're also addressing food insecurity in the city as well. So our young people are working with us all facets of our work, from our food distribution to our community supporting agricultural harvesting to our community engagement work. So they're intersecting in every piece of that, as our youth are the pivotal moment, and they're the ones that hold a lot of that foundation for the work that we do.
Well, it's been great to spend the day with members of the team for the Food Project and see the community garden here. And just a key part of the ecosystem we have here in the city that's focused on food security, it's focused on tackling hunger.
But I certainly do understand, as we all do, I think the importance of the real challenges we face around food insecurity, housing insecurity, and Lynn is such a wonderfully diverse city and an opportunity, like you were saying, Lydia. This is a setting in which people are actually able to come together from diverse backgrounds, and you know that's the way we build fabric and knit fabric and
why this organization has been so successful. And one word you probably don't associate with politics is teamwork, but we in the legislature and across to the mayor, the attorney general, have found a way to find shared priorities to work together.
You can talk about people's experiences and what you have seen, right? And where people are at and where they're coming from and what they're having to deal with in the day-to-day, and that matters.
The Babe Ruth 15-year-olds are headed to the World Series in Stafford, Virginia. On Tuesday, they received a send-off and recognition in front of City Hall, which many city officials were in attendance for. Here is more.
It means a lot. You know, these guys have worked really hard for the past 2 months. You know, they've given up their whole summer. So, you know, they're the ones that deserve all the credit. You know, they're the ones that put in, you know, all the work, practicing 2 hours a day in, you know, 90, 100-degree weather. You know, so they deserve everything that they're getting. It's all about them.
My name is Jared Nicholson. I'm the mayor of Lynn, and it is my honor to welcome and congratulate Lynn Babe Ruth, headed to national championships. These are moments that I'm sure that you all will remember for the rest of your lives, and they don't happen without the years and years of hard work that you've put in to hone your skills to make it to this level.
I want you to know on behalf of the City Council how proud we are. We know you're going to do us proud down there, and we're really looking forward to watching you, and know that we're behind you the whole way as you're playing down there on that field. Good luck.
It is such an honor. You have uplifted the city. You have inspired so many young players as they're coming up to do the same. Truly an inspiration, and we're very excited when you come back to celebrate with you here in Lynn.
Now for the sports update. Jeanette Anderson and Rashida Ellis will be inducted into the Lynn English Hall of Fame on Wednesday, October 12th. Anderson is a basketball forward who was the first player in Lynn English history to record 1,000 rebounds and 1,000 points. As a player at Caldwell University, she received 3 CACC honors, earning a place on the CACC first team twice. Ellis is a champion boxer from Lynn. She is the 2022 Elite World Women's Champion and represented the United States in the 2020 Summer Olympics. Congratulations to both athletes on their accomplishments. The North Shore Navigators finished off the year at 13-31. They won the finale at Fraser 5-3 against the Ocean State Waves. This was their 5th win in the last 7 games. A 4-run 5th inning proved to be the difference in the game. Jonathan Luders led the team, going 3 for 5 and scoring a run in the 5th. In total, the Navs had 12 hits, with 4 players having multi-hit games. All-star Jake Gelati got the win, going 5 innings and allowing 6 hits and only 1 run. Despite giving up a leadoff triple, Max Tarlin recorded his 2nd save of the season. The trade deadline was August 2nd, and the Red Sox were making moves. They traded Christian Vasquez to the Houston Astros for 2 prospects. Vasquez was the longest tenured Red Sox player, having been with the team since 2008. The Sox also picked up first baseman Eric Hosmer from the Padres. They also released outfielder Jackie Bradley Jr. last week on Thursday the 4th. Since the start of August, the Sox have gone 3-5, winning the first 2 games against the Astros before dropping the series finale and going 1 for 3 against the Kansas City Royals. They lost the first of 2 games against the defending World Series champion Atlanta Braves 9-7 in 11 innings. The Sox battled back twice, but were unable to stop the Braves' offense. They will now enter into a weekend series against division rivals, the New York Yankees. And that is the sports update. On this week's edition of the Lynn Lowdown, we sat down with Audrey Morse Gasteyer, Chief of Policy and Strategy at Massachusetts Health Connector. We discussed the special enrollment period. Here is the Lowdown. Good afternoon and welcome back to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, the news director here at LCTV, and today we have Audrey Morse Gasteyer, Chief of Policy and Strategy at Massachusetts Health Connector. She is currently on Zoom, so thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be back.
Of course, thank you. And would you mind just saying a little bit about what Mass Health Connector is?
Absolutely. So the Massachusetts Health Connector is the state's official health insurance exchange or health insurance marketplace. And what that is a place where anybody who doesn't already get health insurance coverage, whether it's through a job or a program like Medicare, can come and enroll in affordable health coverage. Importantly, it's the only place in the state where you can qualify for subsidies or help lowering the cost of your health insurance coverage. And it's also the place where you can shop from all the state's health insurance companies to find the plan that's best for you and your family. So it's sort of a one-stop shop for health coverage here in the Commonwealth.
That sounds awesome. And I will ask, what is your role as Chief of Policy and Strategy?
Yeah, so I get to work on the design of health insurance coverage products that we offer to Massachusetts residents and work to raise awareness in the Massachusetts public about the health coverage options that we offer to residents here in the state. So we try to do work with community-based organizations to get the word out to people about how important it is to have health coverage, the fact that in Massachusetts, adults are required to have health coverage, and make sure people know about how affordable the options are for them, how much work we put into at a state and a federal level, making this health coverage affordable for people. And that, in fact, it covers all the needs you might have from a healthcare access perspective, and just giving people assistance for actually filling out those applications and getting enrolled.
Great, that's awesome. I did not realize adults were required to have health insurance. I actually did not realize that. I probably should.
That's true. Yeah.
And so you're here today to talk about special enrollment as opposed to annual enrollment. So you want to talk a little about that?
Absolutely. So every year we run something called an open enrollment period, and that runs from November 1st through late January. And that's the time of year when anybody can come in. They don't need any kind of a qualifying event or any special circumstance to enroll in coverage. So we do a lot of outreach. You hear a lot from us and about us at that time of year. But it's important for people to know that during the rest of the year, it doesn't mean that there's not ways to get into health coverage. So if you do have what's called a qualifying event or a life event, so that could be getting married, having a baby, you lost your job, those things can qualify you to enroll in health coverage at any time of the year. But there's also other qualifying events, including qualifying for our unique program, which is called Connector Care. And that's a program for people who earn up to about $41,000 a year for a household of one. A household of four would be about $83,000 a year. So people who are at that income level or below can qualify for Connector Care. And if they newly qualify at any time in the year, they can go ahead and enroll in coverage. So anybody can come to our website, which is www.mahealthconnector.org, and fill out an application. If they qualify for Connector Care, they can enroll for the first of the following month. But we also want to draw attention to the fact that a lot of people in that category qualify for free coverage. And that's anybody earning up to about $20,000 can qualify for a free plan, and they can go ahead and get enrolled any time of year. So it's just really important if people don't have health coverage, that they're not just waiting for open enrollment. There's a lot of ways to get into coverage the rest of the year. And what we find for a lot of people who don't have health coverage is they assume they won't be able to afford it. They think, oh, I don't have the money for that. It's hard to make ends meet right now. I'll get to that someday when my budget allows it. But in fact, most people who don't have coverage would qualify for free health insurance coverage or very low cost health insurance coverage. So that's what we're trying to spread the word about. Even during closed enrollment, there are these special enrollment triggers that allow people to enroll at other times of the year. So we do want people to check out their options. Come to our website, which is www.mahealthconnector.org.
Great, that's good. And that's definitely a good resource for people to know about. And another thing you'd mentioned was how much COVID had really affected people and caused special enrollment to become even more important than it already is.
COVID has affected, I think, a lot of the ways a lot of residents think about health insurance coverage, and it certainly affected the way we've tried to approach expanding health coverage here in the Commonwealth. So ever since the COVID emergency began back in March of 2020, we have been doing a number of extended enrollment periods wherein we allow people to get covered even outside of that open enrollment period. And no surprise, what we found is that there was a lot of different circumstances going on in people's lives. People were changing jobs, people were losing their jobs a lot at the beginning of the pandemic. And so all of that movement for people, changing employment situations and the like, and just, I think, developing a deepened appreciation for just how critical access to healthcare is, not just talking about vaccines, which anybody can get, even if they're uninsured, but all of the healthcare needs that we all need to be thinking extra hard about these days with the ongoing COVID dynamic and what we've all been through. So just doing all the work we can to make sure people understand where to come if they don't have health coverage and how to go about enrolling, and frankly, how much help there is to afford that coverage, to lower people's healthcare costs, and the help available to people to go through the application process itself. We have lots of organizations across the state to assist people who might want to sit down with a real life person and assist them in going through the application process. Right here in the Lynn area, we have the Lynn Community Health Center and Joint Committee for Children's Healthcare in Everett. Those are what are called navigators, which are trained organizations that are specially trained to assist people with the application process, understanding their options and getting into coverage.
Great, awesome. That sounds like a really good program you had. And you mentioned it a little bit before, but the best way to apply would be online through your website, or that would be the best way to contact you?
That's right. So the Health Connector has a website, which is www.mahealthconnector.org. And on that website, you can find all kinds of information about what you might qualify for. You can even get an estimate for premiums available to you in your area. And that's all available right there on that landing page. And you can also find links to local organizations that can assist you if you go to the Get Help button at the top of the page. So that's all there. And importantly, that is where you can actually fill out an application. If you go to our website, you can fill out an application for health coverage. But it's important for people to know they can reach us by phone. They can call us at 877-623-6765. And again, they can reach out to a local navigator organization in their area, and individuals there are trained to assist you with the application process and answer any questions you might have, and they can meet with you in person or over the phone. But there's a lot of ways to fill out an application and go ahead and get covered. And anybody who doesn't have health coverage should really do it, and may qualify for something a lot more affordable than they might be assuming.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely good to know. I know a very common thing is how expensive health coverage can be, so that can definitely be a deterrent when looking at it.
Exactly.
And we'll ask, you're Massachusetts, so you're throughout the state. Why do you think it's so important for people in Lynn specifically to know about this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. So Massachusetts is really fortunate. We are the state with the highest level of health insurance coverage of any state in the United States. We've got about 97% of our residents covered at any given time. We're still working to get at that 3% of coverage. We really want everybody in the state to have health insurance coverage. It is so critical for people to have access to health care, to stay healthy, to help them if they get sick or have an accident. And that's not just important for people's health and their health outcomes. It's also important for their financial and economic protection. If something unexpected happens to you and you don't have health coverage, you could face really, unprecedented and overwhelming healthcare bills, and that can really rattle a household's finances, to put it mildly. So we want to make sure people have that protection. And one of the things we find when we think about that last 3% of the residents that we want to get into health coverage is that's not evenly distributed around the state. There are particular pockets of the state, particular cities and communities where we see higher levels of uninsurance. Lynn is one of those communities. So we know we have our work cut out for us in Lynn. And so if you are listening to this and you are one of those residents who may be uninsured, or one of your friends or family members or neighbors maybe, we are asking for your help to make sure we're getting everybody in Lynn covered. People in Lynn, just like all across the state, deserve to benefit from the health coverage investments that this state and country have made to make health coverage affordable. We want to make sure people have access to that care that they deserve and need. So that's why we're doing a lot of work in Lynn and communities like it around the state to try to raise awareness and make sure people know this is affordable and there's help available to get you into coverage with your application, help in all kinds of languages and all kinds of settings to make sure that you can get across the line and into that health coverage you need and deserve.
It's awesome. That's definitely a very good thing to know. And I want to make sure it's clear, probably for my benefit and everyone who's watching, is special enrollment is open throughout the year. Even if it says it's closed enrollment, there are still ways to get coverage.
That's exactly right. So any time of the year, if you qualify for our Connector Care program, so again, that's somebody earning up to about $41,000 a year as a household of one, or a household of four, about $83,000 a year. And you can get into low dollar or free coverage with low copays and no deductibles. That's our Connector Care program, that you can have a qualifying event for that all year long. But even if you're outside of that income range, if you have what's called a qualifying life event, have a baby, get married, change jobs, those things can qualify for a special enrollment period too. So whenever somebody doesn't have health coverage, we always say, just come check out your options. You may qualify for something. And we want to make sure we're getting people into coverage and they're not having to wait until November.
That does sound like a very important thing to be talked about. And I want to thank you again for coming on to discuss some of the options and making sure that it's really visible to the community.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity to get the word out, and hope your listeners and viewers at home will make sure they're covered, families covered, friends, neighbors, and members of their community. And I appreciate you helping us get the word out.
Yes. Of course. And so thank you again. And once again, my name is Dani Vittori. This has been another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. Come back next week for more guests. Now for the community calendar. Friday, August 19th, there will be a movie night at Red Rock Park. Taking place from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m., head down to watch Encanto and enjoy the last weeks of summer. A perfect event for families, children, and those of all ages. Saturday, August 12th, the second annual Diversity Matters Festival will be taking place at Red Rock Park from 1 to 7 p.m. North Shore Juneteenth began the festival last year to show the importance of cultural inclusion and bring people together to celebrate their diversity. This year, they are partnering with Save the Harbor, Save the Bay, Marblehead School of Music, Lynn Museum, and Creative Collection. To learn more, head to our website, lyntv.org. Also on the 20th is Family Fun Day at the Lynn Common Gazebo from 12 to 3 p.m. Hosted by Life Scene, formerly Children and Family Services, there will be activities for families, children, and those of all ages. In addition, attendees will be introduced to the services, agencies, and businesses who help Lynn grow and thrive. Rain date is August 21st. For more information, visit our website at lyntv.org. For a complete list of events happening and for more information on the events listed, head to our website, lyntv.org. That is all for this week's news. Be sure to check out our website, lyntv.org, and subscribe to our YouTube page, Lynn Community Television, to stay up to date on all the latest news. Also, follow us at Lynn Community Television on social media to get alerts for new videos and events happening in the community. I'm Dani Vittori, and we'll see you next week with more news.